evening and welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Tamiru Nimsat. Let's have a look at the headlines. No new e-commerce tax. Treasury Secretary Surya Perumal clarifies. Sri Lanka expresses optimism on balanced trade deal with US. News in detail. Treasury Secretary Dr. Harshan Surya Perumal clarified that the government has not imposed any new tax on e-commerce transactions amid rising public concern over recent changes in customs procedures for small parcel imports. Dr. Surya Perumal said this addressing reporters at a media briefing recently. Dr. Surya Perumal emphasized that the recent steps taken by Sri Lanka Customs were not new taxes but corrective measures to plug revenue leakages and ensure proper classification of goods under the harmonized system code. He revealed that some e-commerce platforms misused concessions granted under business-to-business models by engaging in business-to-consumer transactions, thus avoiding proper taxation. The Treasury Secretary added that Customs is considering the adoption of de minimis thresholds similar to practices in other countries to allow tax-free imports below a set value while ensuring fair taxation on larger volumes. Industries Deputy Minister Chaturanga Abesinghe, speaking separately, acknowledged that regulatory shortcomings around cross-border e-commerce, particularly in B2C transactions, have led to current issues in customs duty assessments. He said loopholes created since 2017 to 2018 allowed platforms such as Temu and AliExpress to avoid proper taxes by exploiting the weight-based system and bypassing HS code requirements. The Customs Department recently updated the Asikuta system to classify such imports under standard tariff codes, leading to a sudden spike in taxes and public frustration. Speaking at a media briefing, Treasury Secretary Dr. Harshan Surya Perumal said Sri Lanka had held several rounds of discussions with the US trade representative and remained optimistic about the possibility of a balanced deal. President Trump warned on Friday that tariffs could increase to as high as 70% if no agreements are reached, with implementation set to begin on 1st August. Several countries have already concluded negotiations with the US. The United Kingdom secured a deal in May that retained the 10% base tariff and obtained preferential terms for key sectors such as automobiles and aerospace. Vietnam successfully negotiated a reduction from a proposed 46% tariff to 20% in exchange for allowing duty-free access for select US exports. The United States is one of Sri Lanka's most significant trade partners, importing $3 billion worth of goods from Sri Lanka last year. Over 70% of these exports came from the country's garment industry, which depends heavily on continued access to the US market. Dike Axis Environment hosted a children's art competition with the goal of raising environmental awareness and promoting water conservation among young minds recently. The event was organized in collaboration with Surangani Voluntary Services, a Japanese-backed NGO that works to uplift disadvantaged children, particularly those with special needs and in underserved communities. The competition brought together children from low-income families supported by SVEs and was graced by several dignitaries, including Dr. Anton Jayakodi, Deputy Minister of Environment, and Prabhat Danayaka, Chief Operating Officer of Dike Axis Sri Lanka Environment. All participating children were gifted Japanese educational kits that included school bags, stationery, umbrellas, and other essentials for one academic year. 16 students across 4 age groups were selected as winners and received special prizes for their creativity. The event concluded with a Colombo City tour and complimentary meals for all students, teachers, and parents. Managing Director of Dike Axis Environment, Roy Wasi, emphasized the broad vision behind the initiative. He said that this competition is not only a celebration of talent, but a powerful tool to encourage environmental responsibility in our younger generation. Dike Axis Sri Lanka, a fully owned subsidiary of Dike Japan, continues to introduce cutting-edge water treatment technologies to meet the country's increasing demand for sustainable wastewater management solutions. Stay tuned. We will return after this short commercial break. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has initiated formal resolution action on nation Lanka Finance under the Banking Act following the company's prolonged non-compliance with regulatory requirements and its worsening financial position. Despite multiple extensions and regulatory interventions, NLFP failed to rectify persistent issues including deficient capital levels, poor asset quality, continuous losses, and its inability to repay depositors. The administrator now holds full authority over the company's assets, rights, business operations, and management. The central bank stated that the resolution action aims to protect the interests of depositors and creditors and safeguard the stability of the financial system given NLFPA's deteriorating condition. CBSL urged all parties with financial obligations to NLFP to fulfill their commitments strictly through NLFP's official bank accounts and to maintain proper payment records. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has announced the extension of the suspension imposed on Perpetual Treasuries Limited from operating as a primary dealer for a further period of 6 months, effective from last week. The decision was made under the provisions of the Registered Stock and Securities Ordinance and the Local Treasury Bills Ordinance and is intended to allow for the continuation of ongoing investigations into PTL's operations. PTL has remained under regulatory scrutiny following allegations of irregularities in the issuance and trading of government securities. The CBSL reaffirmed that the suspension is necessary to ensure the integrity of the country's financial and capital markets while inquiries continue. Signature, Sri Lanka's leading menswear brand under the Hamidia Group, has officially entered the footwear market through a strategic franchise partnership with Campus Activewear recently. The Campus footwear range will now be available for the first time in Sri Lanka. The collection will be sold across selective Signature showrooms, H Sports outlets, a broad network of retail partners, exclusive stores, and online via signature.lk with island-wide delivery. Founded in 2005, Campus Activewear has reshaped India's youth footwear segment by offering trendy, high-quality, and affordable footwear. The brand sold 22.2 million pairs in 2024, backed by a massive retail presence with over 23,000 retail points and 250 plus exclusive outlets across India. Amjad Hamid, director at Signature, said that Campus resonates strongly with today's fashion-conscious youth. The Campus range caters to men, women, and children, offering a variety of styles that blend comfort, durability, and trendiness, targeting active lifestyles and everyday fashion needs. As Signature diversifies into the lifestyle segment beyond clothing, the inclusion of Campus footwear further strengthens its mission to become a one-stop destination for the modern Sri Lankan consumer, offering fashion and functionality from head to toe. Stay tuned for the stock update. Trading at Clump Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today.
The All Share Price Index dropped by 10.08 points to close at 18,032.12 and the S&P SL 20 dropped by 18.24 points to close at 5,321.75. The turnover was over 8.8 billion rupees and over 239 million shares were traded.
Up next are forex trades. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.